part of the trouble with cultural relativism is that it contains its own glaring performative contradiction, which is true for almost most progressive postmodern statements. And that is, it's saying that a relativistic view that sees each line of culture developing on its own, in its own way, that no comparisons can be made or rankings can be made, that's a claim of superiority, right? That they're pulling the rug out from under themselves philosophically by saying that cultural relativism is superior to recognizing cultural development. And that this performative contradiction of cultural relativism, it has moral hazards of its own. And those moral hazards can be seen in the idea that we have transcended societies that were based on slavery, or societies that practice human sacrifice, right? Although slavery still exists, and I'm not sure about sacrifice, but in most of the world, there's a general consensus that slavery is bad and that sacrifice is bad, and that there's just sort of moral clarity around earlier human practices that were once thought to be natural and evident, which we now condemn. But if we say that a culture that practices slavery is morally equal, and that a culture that has grown out of slavery or gone through revolutions or important forms of its own sacrifice to eliminate slavery, if we say that that doesn't make things better, then not only does it make it difficult to help spread or eradicate slavery wherever it exists in societies where it's still practiced, it also makes it extremely difficult to defend the achievements of the society in which we live. And those achievements go beyond the obvious horrors of slavery or human sacrifice. We could talk about the equality of women, right, which is, I think, a clear objective marker of the evolution of culture. That cultures wherein women are the equals of men are more developed morally than those wherein, now we could say the same thing about societies where there's peace, societies where there's prosperity, societies where there's rule of law, societies where there's human rights. That we have a kind of a moral duty to say, like, human rights aren't just for us, kind of weird Westerners, that everybody in the world deserves human rights, and that we have a moral duty to stand up for it. But if we are staunch cultural relativists, then our ability to make such claims is, cut off at the knees.